car that stands before the eyes in this image is not just a machine of steel, rubber, and chrome, but rather a rolling testament to the era when automobiles were sculpted with a sense of permanence, presence, and undeniable charisma. The body of this vintage American coupe glows in a coat of crisp white paint, reflecting light in smooth waves across its broad surfaces. Every curve and line of the design carries the DNA of late 1960s and early 1970s American car culture, a time when manufacturers sought to merge brute power with sophisticated elegance. It is a car that feels just as comfortable thundering down a highway as it does resting silently in a luxurious, marble-floored office, as seen here. The juxtaposition of this classic muscle luxury machine inside a modern high-rise environment only intensifies its aura, as though it has transcended time and become an artwork as much as a vehicle. From the rear view that the photograph provides, the car's personality is expressed through broad horizontal elements that emphasize its width and low stance. The taillights, rectangular in shape and divided by clean chrome sections, are framed by a gleaming bumper that wraps around with confidence. These rear details communicate a solid, squared-off identity that was common among American coupes of this era. The trunk lid extends with a subtle overhang, suggesting both practicality and style, while the sloping roofline hints at performance aspirations. The dual exhaust outlets below whisper of the thunderous engine that lies beneath the long hood, likely a V8 with displacement figures that today sound almost mythical. In the United States of this car's period, cubic inches were the measure of dominance, and numbers like 350, 400, or even 454 were badges of honor on muscle cars and coupes. Even when this particular model was intended as a more refined grand tourer rather than an outright drag strip bruiser, it still carried with it the expectation of raw strength underfoot. Moving to the side profile in the imagination, one sees the long, uninterrupted sweep of sheet metal that defines this car. The body is stretched, with doors large enough to make entry into the coupe cabin an occasion rather than a mere step. Chrome trim delicately highlights the beltline and wheel arches, balancing restraint with ornamentation. The wheels themselves are dressed in period-correct chrome hubcaps, shod with thick sidewall tires that emphasize ride comfort as much as they do visual presence. Unlike today's cars with their low-profile tires and oversized alloys, this classic coupe's stance is proud and substantial, projecting solidity from the ground up. The gentle kick-up of the rear fenders creates a subtle sense of motion even at rest, while the roofline flows seamlessly into the rear deck. This flow gives the car a sculpted look that is unmistakably American, bold, yet graceful. At the front, though not visible here, one can easily imagine the commanding grille that would define the car's face. Wide, with twin headlamps set in chrome bezels, the front would have carried the aggression and sophistication expected of such a model. The grille likely stretched across the width, perhaps bisected by a vertical element carrying the emblem of its brand, an emblem that symbolized prestige in its time. Below, a sturdy chrome bumper offered both protection and a sparkling accent to the overall appearance. The hood, long and slightly domed, would suggest the beastly engine beneath, while small sculptural creases gave the surface both strength and refinement. Such a design was meant to command respect on arrival, the kind of car that announced its presence long before its driver even stepped out. The cabin of such a car would have been designed with both comfort and spectacle in mind. Wide bench seats or optional bucket seats wrapped in vinyl or leather would offer plush accommodation. The dashboard, a sweeping expanse of padded surfaces and chrome-trimmed dials, would have given the driver a sense of mastery over a sophisticated machine. Large, easy-to-read gauges provided information on speed, fuel, and engine vitals, while a radio with push-button controls offered entertainment. Wood grain accents, though often simulated rather than real, added warmth to the otherwise metallic and vinyl surfaces. Air conditioning vents, cigarette lighters, and ashtrays reminded the occupants that this was an era of indulgence, when comfort and convenience went hand in hand with style. The steering wheel, often large by modern standards, connected driver to road in a way that was both physical and symbolic. To grip such a wheel was to command a machine of weight and substance, to feel every vibration of the mighty engine, and to be reminded that driving was not a passive activity but a true engagement with mechanics. The essence of this car lies not only in its form but in its context. Built during an age when America was at the height of its automotive power, cars like this coupe embodied a national spirit of expansion, optimism, and individuality. Highways were being laid across the continent, and families, businessmen, and dreamers alike needed machines that could eat up miles with ease. This car, with its long wheelbase and powerful engine, was designed to glide along at high speeds while cocooning its occupants in comfort. At the same time, it carried enough aggression in its styling to attract younger buyers who wanted performance credentials. It straddled the line between muscle car and luxury coupe, delivering the best of both worlds. The image of such a car parked inside a glass-walled office in a modern skyscraper speaks to how these machines are now appreciated not just for their function, but for their form. They are art pieces, cultural artifacts, symbols of a bygone era when car design was about emotional impact as much as practicality. What makes this particular car especially striking is its condition. The paint is flawless, the chrome polished to a mirror finish, the tires looking fresh and ready to roll. It has been preserved, restored, or maintained in a way that honors its original glory. This is no abandoned relic of the past but a living reminder of what American carmakers once achieved. Its presence in a clean, high-end environment suggests it is cherished, not merely as transportation but as a collector's piece, a possession that carries both history and pride. Enthusiasts who see this car would instantly recall the rumble of a carbureted V8, the scent of gasoline, and the feel of wind rushing through open windows on a summer highway. Those who never lived the era still recognize its magnetism, drawn to its proportions and craftsmanship that stand apart from the homogenized shapes of today's vehicles. Even the smallest details contribute to its aura. The rear badging, neatly positioned in chrome lettering, declares the model name with pride. The license plate, dark with bright lettering, frames the rear composition and reminds us of its identity as a road legal machine. The subtle body lines, running from front fender to rear quarter panel, provide structure to the large surfaces, catching light in a way that changes as one walks around the car. The roofline, with its straight edges and sharp transitions, contrasts beautifully with the flowing curves below. This interplay of geometry, rectangular lamps, straight roof edges, and rounded bodywork, creates visual tension that keeps the car interesting from every angle. Ultimately, this car is not just an automobile, it is a time capsule. It tells the story of when American manufacturers were locked in fierce competition to outdo each other in size, power, and prestige. It reflects the optimism of an era that believed the open road was limitless, fuel was abundant, and bigger always meant better. To see it now, decades later, is to understand how design and culture intertwine. It is a machine that speaks of freedom, individuality, and style, yet also of nostalgia and reverence for craftsmanship that is no longer common. Its place in a modern setting underscores the fact that it has become timeless. It does not belong to the past alone, but continues to captivate in the present, admired by those who see in it not only a car but a work of art. This white coupe embodies the ideals of its time: boldness, strength, beauty, and pride. From its gleaming rear bumper to the imagined roar of its engine, it is an icon of American motoring that has transcended function to become legend. Whether viewed from the back, the side, or the front, it speaks in a universal language of power and grace. It is the kind of car that refuses to be forgotten, the kind that even when parked still seems to be moving, carrying with it the dreams of a generation and the admiration of every generation that follows.